Hey folks, Brenton here with RevitFamily.biz. I am going to walk you today through all of our changes and upgrades that we've made to our cabinet families. But before I do that, I want to say thank you to you guys. These upgrades and changes are all results of feedback that we've received from you. And I make these cabinets for you guys. And so I love to hear all of the different ways you use them, and I love to hear what else we need to do to make them better. And it's true that I get a little bit sad with constructive criticism because I don't want to disappoint you, and the changes, even the slightest change to these cabinets takes me weeks and weeks because there are just so many cabinets, and Revit does not like to change things once I've made the families. So, there's a little bit of part of me that shivers about criticism, but I do love it because without it, these families would not be better. And so without further ado, let's jump into the changes. So the first category of changes we've made are basically we've added new families. So let's look at those families. We've added 4 new base cabinets, and we've always had sinks, okay, but before our sinks were double doored. So for example, this sink here, it's just a base sink with double doors underneath. And it was brought to my attention that sometimes you don't want double doors underneath your sink, you just want a single door. So that's what we've added. We've added 2 new cabinets with just 1 door underneath the sink, and that is a normal base cabinet that you see here. And then up here we have a floating base cabinet series, and so we've added a single door under that floating base sink. The next one was we've always, since probably the last 2 revisions ago, we added ADA heights as a standard, but we, for some reason, didn't put in an ADA sink. So you now have the ADA sink with the knee clearances underneath it. Then another highly requested cabinet was a base cabinet that allowed you to have a microwave in it. So that's what I've done. We now have a microwave base cabinet. And if you go to the type properties, you can shut off the actual microwave. I've embedded the appliance in there to help make placing it easier because it's super annoying to try to make the opening correct and then try to place in Revit another model that you've downloaded from somewhere and try to get it to fit. So it just comes with the microwave in it. But if you don't like that, you can always shut the microwave off. I'm going to turn it back on. We're just going to go to type properties and show microwave. And then it shows. And there is a 30-inch version and a 36 wide version as well. So a smaller and a bigger microwave for variety. And then if you go to the floor plan, you'll also notice I've put the tag in, and that shows through the countertop. If you don't like that behavior though, you can go over here to where it says show microwave label, and you can just shut that off. But I think for the most part, I know in my house plans that I do, I always want to see where the microwave is. And so I keep the label on. All right, the next thing that was requested, and this I fought a little bit, guys, because in my experience, the best way to make countertops is not with a family. But everyone's asking for a countertop family, so I made you some countertop families, and they are included now. We have just a standard straight countertop, an L shape, and a U shape, and they're all parametric. So the length, width, height, thickness of the countertops, those are all parameters. There's even more parameters in the L and the U because you got to control the lengths of the legs. And then the part I was dreading the most, guys, and this is why I just say you should just make them in place, is the thing, it gets infinitely complicated when you have, say, this U-shaped counter, and you have sometimes where you want the backsplash to be on 3 sides. Sometimes you want it on 4 sides. Maybe you want it on the end of this leg of the U, but not this one. Anyways, coming up with the amount of options that would take to make everyone happy into one family was a task I was dreading. I just want to show you real quickly. We're gonna click on the U shape. Because I love you guys, I sat down and I did this, but I just want you to see how many equations it takes. So in order to cover all the options and possibilities one could possibly expect on a U shape for the backsplash, I had to come up with these equations, and they are just really long. And you can see how many different pieces of model geometry there is here. And then all of this are equations I had to write, and I can't even expand it long enough to show you the full equation. But that's what it took in order to make sure that these would work for you guys in any scenario. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I say any scenario, and then you guys will inevitably email me about something that's wrong. But this is a very strong first attempt. But now, when you click on the U-shape, you can look over here under graphics. It says back, backsplash, left, left end, right, right end. So if I turn them all on, you can see it puts a backsplash around the whole thing. But if we want to take off one of the leg ends, you can take it off. And you can literally just check any combination of these boxes and it will do whatever you want. So, you know, I'm a little bit proud of myself, but it took a lot of work and time to make just that one family. But they're now included. You can use them all you want. I'll make a separate video for how I make cabinets, because a lot of the times these will do probably 80% of the situations. But I know for me, like in this example, there's often like a weird angle that you need, and you know, you can't possibly create a family that could, I mean, you can make a family do anything, but it only takes 1 or 2 minutes to make these custom countertops as in-place families. So that's how I do it personally. Especially because I like to have these pop-outs around like the ovens or the cooktops. And like I said, there's angles sometimes. So I make mine as custom in-place families. But now that I've taken the time to do these standalone families, I'm probably going to use those a lot more often. So thanks for your feedback, guys. I hope these countertops help you. This was probably the #1 of all the emails I received. The majority are about telling me that the cabinets did not come with countertops. So here are your countertop, guys. Please use them. I put a lot of work into them, and so I hope they help. All right, the other new families I've put in here are nested families. So they're not necessarily standalone families that you're going to load in, but they are inside the families that you're using. And the first of these is the hardware. So let's look at that. Before, in previous versions of the cabinets, there were only 7 types of hardware that you could choose from. Now there's 18, so we've added, like I said, 11. And we tried to kind of come up with more updated, we've got some more like simplistic, what do we call it? What's it called? More clean looking modern poles, and then some more modern geometric looking poles, and then 2 of the more major ones that people have asked for are the cup poles. We didn't have these in previous versions, so now you've got kind of a more modern geometric one, and then like a classic half globe, you know, cup pole. So to switch those out, all you have to do is go to the cabinet. We're going to go to an elevation view, and let's just put a cup pole on these drawers. So you click on the drawers, and over here it says hardware style. You're just going to click on that, and you can see all the preloaded styles that we have. And we're just going to pick cup, the geometric cup right there, and then it switches it out. Another thing that I've changed, because it didn't even occur to me before, but was brought to my attention, that sometimes when you have a cabinet that has doors and a drawer in the same cabinet, you don't want it to all have the same hardware, which before in previous versions, if you changed the hardware, it changed it on the drawer and the doors at the same time. Now I've separated those parameters out so you can have a different drawer hardware than the door. So if we just look over here in the cabinet, you can see here's a drawer hardware style parameter and a door hardware. So let's change it so that all the drawers have cups, cup poles. We'll apply that. And now you can have linear poles on the doors and cup poles on the drawers, or whatever combination you like. Okay, the next update that we did was has to do with the way things look in plan view. So let's click into our plan view here. And I think in the last revision, we allowed you to come into the parameters of a base cabinet and you can show the base outline, because a lot of people were requesting that. I thought I had helped you guys all out, but there were more requests about plan view. You guys, or some of you guys, wanted to be able to see the door swings. And so I have now incorporated that into the mix. So if you click on the base cabinet or any cabinet, you now see a parameter that says show door swing symbol and then plan. And then you just click on that, and now you can see the doors in plan. Same with the upper cabinets. All right, show. Let me click the right cabinet here. And there you go. There's the door swing. The other thing I did was to allow you to also change the swing. So if you wanted it to be 90 degrees, you could put 90 degrees in there. If you want 30 degrees, you can do 30 degrees. So that's parametric as well. All right, after that, the other thing we did was I added in the ability to change the way the panels look, like the whole style of the cabinet you can now change. So right now, if you buy the shaker cabinets, you see the default, shaker door and shaker drawer. You now have the ability to change those for another nested family, meaning you can either load in your own, or you can use ones that I've preloaded into it that are nested into it, just like the hardware. Before I get too far into that, I'm going to give you a caveat. I did this so that anyone who has like a common cabinet face that they're using or style that they use that I don't cover, you don't have to start from scratch and build your own. You can take my cabinets and you can adjust them. So 98% of the work is done, and you just have to do 2% to get them to be how you want them to be. So I still think that brings a bunch of value, but I'm going to make a separate video about that. So if that's something you guys want to do, look for my other video, because it's not, I tried to make it as easy as possible, but Revit never behaves like you think it's going to. And so there are some caveats and some things you need to be careful about when you change out the panels yourself. So check out my other video, but know that the option's there. And right now, the only styles that have different cabinet faces preloaded in are the shaker styles. The modern and the traditional style cabinets do not have other options. But let me just show you what that looks like. So if you have the shaker cabinets, you can just click on, let's do the drawer and doors. Say we want the drawer to just be a flat face. We don't want it to have this rail around it. And then the doors, we use shaker cabinets, but at the, one of the common ones I use on my jobs is there's a little bead on the inside of the cabinet panel. So let's do that right now. Let's click there, and you can see, if we go to the type parameters, there's a drawer style and a door style. And I'm just going to change the drawer style to a flat type. And then for the door style, I'm going to pick the shaker with a bead. And we're going to click OK. And now you can see it's going to build the cabinet so that the drawer panel is flat and smooth and kind of modern looking. And then we've added this bead around the panel face here. Turn off thin line or thick lines. Okay, so like I said, you're not going to have pre-nested families if you buy the traditional modern, but the shaker does come with two other options. Okay, last but not least, some of the more boring changes are that there were some bugs that we had to fix. Some parameters in some cabinets, I forgot to make a connection to the actual geometry, or there was just a glitch in the way the cabinet was behaving. And then another thing that you will probably want to be aware of is what used to be called Craftsman style is now shaker style. So if you bought Craftsman cabinets before, they're just now called shaker. And we did that simply because I think that's more in line with industry standards. When you're looking at this style of cabinets, we call them most often shaker rather than Craftsman. And then another thing we did, and this is in preparation for another new announcement, is these cabinets used to just be called cabinets. We've now put a prefix in front of it, and now they are overlay cabinets, because they are in fact overlay cabinets as compared to inset cabinets. And we did this because we are now releasing a set of inset cabinets, because you guys have requested that a lot lately. And I know that they are starting to, or they've been a trend for a little while now. So look for those. Those will be a completely separate set of families, but we are going to release inset cabinets. And because we did that, we had to differentiate these cabinets so that if you had both types in a project, they wouldn't cause problems. So these are now called overlay cabinets, and then Craftsman has gone to shaker. All right, the last thing is, how do you get your upgrade? So if you have bought cabinets from us before, we typically will upgrade you for free if you bought that. If you bought the cabinets from us within the last year and then we made an upgrade, we give you the upgraded cabinets for free, and then we give you like a 50% discount if you bought them longer than a year ago. I've decided this one, let's just make it free for everyone. So in order to get your free upgrade, you just need to go to our website, revitfamily.biz, where you originally bought these. And then if you log in using your original account, you should be able to still see under your purchases, you should be able to see the cabinets that you bought. All you have to do is re-download that file. I have updated on our website all of the products to have the new version of the families. So it should be that easy. If it's not that easy for you, please email me through our contact page and I will get you better instructions, or we'll figure out what's happening in your case. But the majority of everyone should be able to just download what you've already bought. All right, guys, thanks for your business. I love making cabinets for you guys. Please keep up with all the feedback. I love to hear it. And happy modeling. These will definitely save you time. I guarantee it. So thanks, guys.